relevant.
I don't
Okay.
even know my course structure. Wait.
I'm going to put this in the BTS that you don't even know the course structure after 2 months of your
Not course
master's.
structure, but course, whatever you want to call it. Wait.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast designed to help international students navigate their journey in the US. I'm really excited about today's episode because joining us today is one of my close friends, a master's student who recently graduated with a degree in industrial engineering from USC, Nithin Lakshmanan. Nithin's journey has been full of great insights, whether it's excelling in his studies to securing an internship or landing a job in this competitive market. I'm sure that if you're someone who wants to pursue industrial engineering or is someone who's already in the middle of it or starting your job search, this episode is going to be jam packed with tips and advice that will help you towards it. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular episode, which is going to be so much of a learning experience with Nitin. Hey Nitin, welcome on my podcast today. It's so good to have you here. I still remember like the first day I met you on the on campus onboarding session and like how we had interacted that day, and cut to now when we both are doing our jobs in our respective fields. So I'm really happy to have you on my podcast and have you share everything about ISC. And I'm sure that our audience will have so many different things to learn from your experiences today. So let's start with the main question as to what is ISC and as to how would you explain it to somebody who is unfamiliar with what industrial systems engineering is and how is it different from the other types of engineering?
Okay, so before I start, I would like to thank Shreya for giving me this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be on a new initiative, you know, doing podcasts with friends and families and etc. I think it's a good venture, and I wish Shreya all the best before I give my first answer. So yeah,
Thank you.
coming to the answer itself. So industrial systems engineering is kind of so the base of any engineering, that what I feel is mechanical engineering. So which is what I pursued in my undergraduation. Uh, so industrial engineering is kind of engineering where you try to cover all the aspects of any industry. It can be supply chain, it can be quality, it can be manufacturing, it can be production, it can be compliance to systems itself, it can be also program management, project management. So it encompasses a lot of various things that industry needs to have to function even. So it's kind of very important for any industry. So yep. So that is some kind of intro that I'd like to give about industrial engineering. And so when you take up industrial engineering, there are like many avenues that can open up. So it is a very, very vast field.
Thank you for like this beautiful introduction. I think you covered a lot of things in that, and you ended by saying that there are many avenues that can open up in industrial engineering. So I would like to dig deeper into that. Can you tell me like what are the avenues that could potentially open up for anyone who wants to pursue industrial systems engineering? And I also had one more question leading up to that, which is why did you choose to pursue industrial systems engineering after mechanical engineering? Like you could have also pursued your master's maybe in civil engineering or something that was more related to mechanical as well, but you chose ISC. So was there a specific reason for doing that?
Okay, so in my mechanical engineering back in undergraduate studies, it was more of technical than management. So I always felt I was someone who can manage things well too. So I wanted something which can be half technical and half management oriented. So if I taken, let's say, for example, mechanical engineering for my master's too, then I would be working in a, let's say, good automobile industry. You're working for the design, or even the systems or the mechanical aspect of it. But yeah, so I didn't want to do 100% technical. I felt my potential was also managing systems, managing things, managing projects. So which is why I wanted something which is 50% technical and 50% management. So this is the main reason that I took up ISC to be, yeah. I think that's it.
Okay, and what would you say are the avenues that would open up for anyone who's pursuing or deciding to pursue something in ISE? Like, what could their end goal be in the industry, according to you?
All right, so this is a very broad answer. So let's say you want to start with supply chain. So for supply chain, there's actually not much degrees back in India or even here that you can pursue just like standalone supply chain degree in undergraduate studies. So if you want to get into supply chain, then doing a mechanical engineering or doing industrial engineering in your undergraduation and then taking up ISC two here will open up an avenue in supply chain because you can take courses which can align to supply chain. So that is the beauty of it because in my major ISC at USC, I had taken courses from Marshall which were in supply chain. So this is one aspect, supply chain. The next one I would say is you can also get into the compliance side of things. For example, you can get into technology consulting, you can get into management consulting. So this is where the big four comes into play, like KPMG, PwC, EY. All those companies hire technology consulting people, and the closest degree, one of the closest right now, is ISC. Over the past few years, there has been an extra or another degree which has come up, which is information systems engineering, if I'm not wrong, information science, if I'm not wrong. So that is one more path, or probably the closest path right now to get into consulting. So, but yeah, there's also a path to get into consulting before, which was ISE. But right now, because there have been many specialized degrees, so ISE is still a good option to take if you want to get into consulting, technology consulting. So let's say Google and some other company, let's say ABC, they want to merge or they want to acquire. Google wants to acquire the company ABC. So you have a lot of things like how do you integrate the technology? How do you manage both of these? So you basically you get hired into a big four, and then they give you projects for these things. And one of the main courses that I'd like to touch upon is the ERP SAP. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. It's called the Enterprise Resource Systems. So one of the best examples of that particular software is SAP, SAP S4HANA. So it is kind of an enterprise resource system where you can, manage a lot of things, right? From sales, marketing, production, planning, inventory management, and all those things. So that is one of the things that you can also do. So for consulting or compliance or risk analysis, I would say ISC is a very good option too. So supply chain is covered, and then compliance or risk analysis or consulting is also done. So these two are done. And the next one I would say quality, which I'm currently doing right now. So if you're interested in manufacturing or if you're interested in quality, it can be supply chain quality, it can be quality of production systems, it can be quality of it can be many things quality. So quality is a very beautiful subject, and if you want to get into the quality side of things, then ISC is the closest one that you can get into because I had taken a course called ISC 527 at USC. It is called Quality Management for Engineers. So which is where I covered all the bases for quality. And then the next one I would like to tell is kind of manufacturing or production. So yeah, it's similar to quality in terms of how you navigate through it, right? So if you want to be in some kind of production planning or manufacturing engineer, all those things, ISE is a very good option. So these are the basic things that I can remember right now. But there's another option, like it comes under ISC too, so I'd like to touch upon it. So people who have the coding background back in India or anywhere in the world, after they pursue a master's degree, they'll usually take up ISC's course, which is the MEM, which is a very famous course at USC too. It's called a Master's in Engineering Management. So it is a course which is very close to ISC general. So IC is a department, and then MEM comes beneath it, and then IC general also, which I took up, comes just alongside MEM. So ISC and MEM are very close, but if you want to get more into management side of things, let's say 80% or 70% management and 30% technology, then MEM is a very good option. So people who want to get into product management, project management, program management, this is a very good path. So right now the market is difficult, is very hard, is very hard on us. So it's very difficult to get into all these things. But yeah, I know a guy who has got into a very good position, the which he wanted. So he took up, he had experience back in India for 3 years in a very good MNC, and then he took up MEM, and then he's placed in a very good company now.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also another path that you can take up. So that's, yeah. So I think I've covered most of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you gave a super detailed answer, and I love the fact that you covered all the categories in detail so that if someone is just focusing on quality, they understood that ISC is something that could eventually lead them to that, even supply chain. And you mentioned that MEM is like 70% management and 30% technical. What would you say is the ratio for ISC? Is it 60-40 or what?
So I see, I would say it's 50-50. I would not say it's 50-50, but I think I would, yeah, I think it's 50-50. So it depends upon the course that you take too. I cannot say it's 50-50 or 60-40. It can be 70-32. So the thing is, to touch upon my course curriculum, I had like four major courses that I had to take. One was inventory systems and management. Second one was engineering project management. Third one was advanced production planning. And the fourth one was ERP that I told you, enterprise wide resource systems, right? So these four were the main, and out of these four, three of them are technical kind of, and one is management. So it also depends upon the course that you take. Let's say you want to pursue only management, then you can choose the electives which are not required, obviously. So you can choose them as management. Like you can take them, you know, you can, like you have many courses in Marshall. It can be marketing or consulting. There are many courses, good courses, or lean operations. Lean operations kind of both math and management. So it depends on the courses that you take, I would say. But I believed it to be 50-50, but it was, I think, more of math, more of technical than management. So yeah, I would say 60-40, 60% technical, 40% uh, management.
I think you opened up a very interesting segment for us to discuss, which is basically about the course curriculum. And you said that you had four courses that were compulsory for you, which you had to take when you enrolled into the master's program. And every student can personalize their course curriculum based on whatever they want to select in their electives and change the ratio of management to technical as they want it to be. So let's say if I am a person who is more interested in the technical side of things, I can take up more courses which are on the technical side, programming intensive. And you said that somebody who is more interested in on the business side could take courses from Marshall. So to all the listeners who are not aware of what Marshall's is, it's basically a school in USC for business. So Marshall School of Business is one of the schools under USC wherein people can take business oriented courses, pursue their masters or an MBA, whatever they wish to. But yeah, Nitin, so can you give us more insights into the elective courses? Like you mentioned that you had four compulsory courses. How many credits did ISC have? And out of that four courses, how many credits were the compulsory courses comprising? And how many credits were you allowed to take under elective courses?
30 credit or 30-hour system. After my first year, it changed into 28-hour system, 28 credit system. So I don't want to confuse the viewers. I'll stick on to the first 30 units, 30 credits itself. So 30 units meant 10 courses, 3 units per course. So you just have to take 10 courses for you to complete the master's degree. And I was having four required courses, which make up to 12 credits, right? And then I had three groups: Group A, Group B, Group C. So, Group A was like between quality and it was also, I think, it was quality and it was probability. And the Group B course was performance analysis using simulation, and then it was again some kind of linear programming and problem solving, which if you remember, you would have studied in 11th and 12th grade. And then the third one was about uh, it was if I'm not wrong, I think it was about production systems and all those things. So these were three groups that I'd taken. Everyone in ISC has to take the three groups, and we can choose one among each group to finish our curriculum. So there were flexibility for the three courses which I had to take, group A, B, and C, but there was limited flexibility, I would say, because if you take up MEM, only four were required, and all other six was open elective, right? So that was kind of also kind of not too good if you want to move a lot and wiggle a lot and trying to explore different avenues. So, but still, it is still good. The courses was still pretty good. I feel the courses offered at USC, ISC electives was very strong when compared to the others. So these three were the groups that I had to take. I took up production planning. I also took up performance analysis for simulation, and I took up quality. So these three were the ones that I had taken.
So you said the four courses made up your 12 credits, and then you took three from each group, which is group A, group B, group C. So that made like each course was 3 credits under that. So it
Yeah,
was 12 plus 9.
yeah,
So just 21
yeah.
credits,
And
right?
for the
So then the remaining you could take from.
yeah, for the remaining 9 units, it could basically be like three courses you can take from any uh, school at USC, but it has to be approved by your academic advisor. So you can take up from ISC, you can take from mechanical engineering background, you can take from analytics, you can also take from Marshall School of Business, which is a business school at USC. You can touch upon analytics. So all these things are the various options that you can have.
Got it. So you said that you had to take one each from group A, group B, group C. So if I wanted to, let's say, take more courses to complete my credits, because like we calculated, only 21 credits were done. So if I wanted to take three more courses, which particular like group should I like could I take from? Could I repeat the courses from group A, group B, group C again, or would I have to like take it from a different school altogether?
Like if you wish, you can always choose the other subjects in group A, B, or C, but it also depends upon which aspect you want to cover, right? Like I told you about the many avenues that one can finally end up, but I forgot about one of the main, which is analytics. So getting into data analytics or getting into supply chain analytics, or it can be business analytics, all these things also is actually a very good option to take ISC. So I'd actually taken courses which align to analytics too. So I'd taken a course called time series forecasting. So it was very interesting course. So it was based on the language R, programming language R, and it was just like estimating, or predicting, um, basically a graph. It can be stocks, it can be forecast, it can be demand, it can be all sort of things. So we used R and we used many models like Arima, Arima, and you know Nave, seasonal Nave. So all these things were technical too, and it was very interesting to that is very interesting course that I think I've taken. And then another course that I'd taken as an elective was business analytics, but we used the software JMP Jump. It was kind of I had learned about the decision trees, and all those things, logistic regression, linear regression, and all these things. So these kind of things also help. I think helped me to learn the analytics side of it. So yeah, I like to add one more avenue of ISC too. So yeah, so to give you the answer, I would say,
Okay,
so
so
based on what you want to study, like I give you examples of 6 7 avenues, right? Based on what you want to study, you can align it. So if you think it aligns more to production, then you can take the second course in group A, or you can take second course in group B, C. It just depends on what avenue you want to take.
understood. Now, which brings me to my next question, and I think you covered a lot of the tools very nicely and based on which subject you studied them under. But for any student who wants to pursue ISC, what would you say are the tools and technologies that they should be focusing on or should learn throughout their masters so that when they appear in the industry, they are ready to apply those things? And I know it's again a very domain specific answer. Like if someone wants to go into supply chain, they could learn something specific to that. But if you could just give any general tools that could even be soft skills, it could also be technical skills. And under that, if you used a tool like you mentioned that you had studied ARIMA models and all of that under predictive time series forecasting, so maybe something along those lines. I just want the listeners to get a knowledge of some technical tools that they can already get some experience with before coming to pursue a
For this
master's.
answer, I'll still go. I'll take section by section and then give an answer because that's I think the viewers can also understand what they require, right? Because if I give like 10, then doesn't make sense to them if they want to pursue. So, if you want to get into production, it can be production quality, it can be manufacturing or supply chain. I would say learn an analytics tool. It can be Tableau or Power BI, and you must learn Excel, and MS Access come as a bonus plus point, I would say. And MS Office basically is very important if you want to get into these things. And quality, you'd also have to learn about more about. It's more about the theories before applying, right? So it can be many aspects. It can be reliability. Is like a you can take up reliability courses if you want to do outside of outside of your school or college. You can take up those courses if you want to get into that sort of things, because that's interesting aspect as well. And if you wanted to get into proper analytics, I would say learn all the programming languages and learn Python most importantly, and learn about the graphs, learn about the models that you can build and predict the graphs and test it. And I would also say, yeah, I think that's about it. Like, yeah, I think it's split into two. And the main software, if you want to get into management or consulting, any tool I would say is ERP systems. Like it can be SAP or Oracle. All those things are very important. So yeah, I think I've given I think decent answer.
Yeah, you have. Like you covered a lot of different technical tools. Now I want to know what are the soft skills that a person applying for a job in the ISC industry needs or requires to shine out there and to make every recruiter love them.
So the first thing that I noticed is confidence, which I think I lacked when I was giving interviews for the internships and all that. So first thing is confidence. Second thing I would say is communication, organization, time management, and detail oriented. So these four or five I think are the basic for any kind of job. I would say it's not only for ISC, it's not only for analytics, it's not only for supply chain. I think for any job you must have all these things. So these things are the major soft skills that I would recommend people to be cautious of and then try to master them.
Okay, so now this brings me to my next segment, which is like out of all the different courses that you took during your master's program, was there any specific course that you took in which you had to collaborate with a group or do a project that gave you industry experience in the course, or was there any favorite project of yours that you feel was so important that it helped you so a lot when it came to the industry practices or learning more about how things are in the practical world?
Yeah. So to give this answer, I'll give two answers. First one, I can say the exciting project for that part of the answer. I would say it was again with a course called ERP Systems, SAP, Enterprise Resource Planning and organizing things. So based off this, so we have actually a group of like 4 people. We had like 40 people in the classroom. So we were split into 10 teams, and basically each team was a company, a standalone company, obviously not real, but a company based off in Germany. and we were selling oats. So our product was oats, or it can be granola or whatever you want to call it. So it was kind of a cereal bar thingy. So yeah, so that was it. So our that was our product, and we had to do many different aspects. So we had to first understand how marketing works, and we had to understand the ratio of our products itself. So let's say I like 50% and 50% nuts, 50% oats, and you like 20% fruits, 20% nuts, and 60% oats. So you might like different things, right? So we also given the responsibility of giving proper ratios to our products, first one, and marketing those products, selling those products. So this was one side of it, but for the production side of it, we were also required to procure and do the production planning, which also included changeover times. Because let's say you want to do one kind of product A, which has specific ratio, and a B has a different ratio. So there's something called setup time, right? You have to change the machine itself. So it is all virtual, obviously. So based off all this, we were given all the responsibilities. So one is after production, one is before production. Based off all this, we had to maximize the profits and try to understand the patterns of the customers. So we used to sell, let's say, 50 units in West Germany, and if we advertise more, we might sell more. So we kind of had to balance all these things and make sure that we profit, and we sure that we profit from the business. So each team were part of it. So each team had to do all these things. So I guess I was in sales, but my friends were in marketing. They were also in production. One was also in the background of production. I think the changeover, setup times, and all those things. So it's kind of hit or miss, but based off your experience, you will do better slowly. It was like I think 7 or 6 rounds, and out of I think 14 or 13 teams, I'm not sure exact number of teams, but I think we came around sixth or seventh. Yeah,
Wow. So it was a very like iterative learning kind of an
yeah,
experience
yeah,
wherein you kept on learning by making changes.
yeah. But you have
Oh,
to make
that's so
changes and then
cool.
improvise, all these things. Yeah, so this was the first project. The second one I would say, which helped me for this particular job, is a quality manual. So we have to prepare a quality manual from scratch to complete revision, right? So we had to build a product by ourselves. It was a small car. We had to build a product, and we have to base the product on the quality manual. And each so if you for the viewers, if they did not know, so quality is important for any industry. You might ask me why it is important, right? So it's important because each company is going to get certified based on the products that they make. It can be any product that they make. It can be even software that they make, but based off the quality manual, they have to make the products, right? Basically it's just certifying. So let's say you buy fruits from a random shop on the street, okay, and then let's say you buy from a very good shop, say um, Amazon Fresh or whatever you want to call it. At the place in Amazon Fresh, right, you have seals, right? Okay, this is from this and this organization, approved by this and this. So it's because they're following from rules and regulations. But the same with manufacturing also. So you have ISO 9001 2008 2008, which is kind of the year it released. So there's also 2015, and there's many different quality manuals that you can get. You can also access it online. For the aerospace industry, it is 900 AS 90001, right? So we have to make a quality manual for the product that we built. So every week we had given like two tasks. We were also a group of 4 or 5, and we are actually doing assignments throughout the semester, splitting up the quality manual into small chunks. I think the professor did a very good job doing that, and then he was assigning us to fill out the forms. Like let's say I want to manufacture pens, right? Like it might look simple at first, but everything is important right from the process that you follow. It can be even the lighting that you use in your manufacturing industry. Even that is important. Like you can't manufacture pens in dark rooms, right? It's impossible. And you can't manufacture when there's noises. So human,
Why?
because uh, less visibility, less visibility means more prone to error, right? So that's about anything. Yeah, so there is an environment conditions, the manufacturing, the process capabilities, design requirements, manufacturing capabilities, so many things involved. So basically, a quality manual is required for any kind of industry. So when we made the toy and we made the quality manual for the toy based on the requirements, it was, I think, the quality manual ISO 9001 2008. So based off that, we made the quality manual. I think it was a very enriching experience because I never had any experience in quality, and doing that and getting to know so many things can open up your views on quality. And then I think that was very important for me to get the job. So yeah.
That's interesting. And because you said that it's applicable to all the industries, I would just want to add that currently the company where I'm working is also following these quality standards and they are ISO something certified. I am not extremely sure of what the year is, but they are ISO certified. I know that. And yeah, quality standards are extremely important in any industry. So I think. Nitin, you highlighted a very important topic there, speaking about quality and the project that you had to build a quality manual. Uh, I want to move into the next segment of this podcast, which is ask you about what helped you land an internship. Because I know that many people, when we started applying for internships in the fall of 2022, we were applying for the summer of 23 to land an internship. And I know that it was a very tough time because not many people were getting callbacks or, receiving internship offers. So, what were the standards or what were the practices that you followed to get your internship? And how does the internship hiring process look like for anyone applying to ISC based roles, like maybe a supply chain analyst or any role that somebody is applying to? How is it different from a core tech role? Because I know that in tech, we generally have multiple rounds that occur. Like, first, you will have your online assessment, then maybe a coding round, and then more coding rounds. So, it's basically a very different process, but I don't know how it works for ISC. So, can you like create some awareness on that?
Okay, so coming on to internships, even I was not aware like how important internships were before I came to the US. Only after I came, I realized it was very important. But even though I realized it was important, I did not apply for. I think I applied only for 40 companies the entire fall semester of 2022, which is kind of very less. And then after coming on from the break, from the winter break, I had started applying intensively. So the one thing that I would say for viewers is just a general advice that I give. So what gets you an internship is your resume. Sadly, that's the only thing that they can use to apply, right? So based off the resume, I would say um, change your resume. Talk to people who are in the industry. Know what is important and know what is a resume which is ATS compliant, right? And know what you should do or what you should put or how you should put rather in ATS. So I always believe that ATS giving you 100% doesn't mean anything because ATS just validates how you put it and not what you put it, right? So you must have humans or your friends, family, people, seniors, it can be even your parents, anyone, they should, kind of try to go through the resume and they should understand if whatever you put makes sense because ATS will only tell you how to put it and not what to put it, right? So you can have 85% score on your resume, that's good enough, but you should know how to put it and what to put it, right? So that is very important. So I know it's difficult because I can put 10 things and I may not get picked, right? And tomorrow some other guy, he might only put 4 things and he may get picked because I feel the 4 was more important. So what you do is this kind of hit and trial process only. So let's say you do your resume for, you can, like I told you, there's supply chain, there's consulting, there's quality, production, manufacturing, which can come into a single thing, and you can also have analytics. So and industry engineering. Yeah. So these 4 or 5 majors you can choose whatever you want to do, and based off this, talk to seniors, get their help, or probably even get their resumes. I would say that is the best one to that is best to start off. You're making your resume, so make your resume properly, and then make sure whatever you make sure not to lie, I would say, because you can still make up 2 or 3 points, but you cannot make up an entire internship in your interview. That's going to be very difficult. So don't do that. Try to be frank and try to add skills, and try it. Like, use a resume for, like, let's say 3 weeks. Apply. If you don't get picked, it's still fine. That's what I followed. You can go over to your resume and change things. By change, I mean not removing and adding things, because what you removed might be important, right? So try to add more things to the resume is what I would say. So this is what I did. So I remember I changed my resume, I think first, second week of January, and then first week of Feb, and then again, I think last week of Feb. I think 3 or 4 times I changed my resume, and then after one point, I'm not even sure what happened, but I started getting many callbacks, many callbacks. So just a hit and trial process, I would say. So probably I got like 10 or 8, 9 callbacks, out of which 4 or 5 was just HR uh, calls. So okay, before we move on to the rounds, I would say uh, the interview process for ISCPs is very simple. So first one, you might mostly get a HR call, which is kind of the human resources. They're just calling you, and they're mostly checking your background and your experience and your confidence. So after you get picked, okay, it all depends upon the company. The second round, you can have a panel round. It can be with different people in your potential company or employer, who want to test you, ask you many kind of things, right? There's After this, you might have technical managers taking your interview. So let's say you want to do quality, you're not going to get asked like behavioral questions at all, right? And if you want to get into consulting, then you might ask behavioral questions. But if you want to get into core industrial engineering, if you want to get into or supply chain, you must know some technical things. So you might have a interview with the manager itself, and then probably even the director or the upper management, vice president. So these are many things that I cannot tell you which one you're going to get, right? So, but yeah, it follows a series of interviews. The first one will be HR. The second one can be panel. It can be manager itself. You might, if you're lucky, you might just have like 2 rounds, or maybe 3 or 4. I know people have had also like 5, 6 rounds. So it all depends upon which company um, you get the call from. So that is the process of interviewing and applying for internships. I just told you, but the most important thing that I followed was, I would say, uh, perseverance. Like, don't ever think that you will not get internship. So that is something that you should not have. Like, you can try many things, but if you don't have the faith in yourself, it's not going to work out. So one thing is putting in the effort in the right way, channel it the right way. The second thing is hard work and perseverance. So these 2 things, combination of these 2 things, at least whomever I know who's got internship, I think they have had these 2 things. Like, they believe that they can, and they also put in some kind of work. Even if you do bad work while applying or doing resumes, but you're still persistent, people who are getting jobs. So yeah, so this is what I would like to tell about the interview process, and also the applying thing. Yeah.
I had an interesting question based off what you just shared, Nitin. I know that you mentioned something that when you're applying, you're using your resume, which is going to be the only tool that the recruiters are going to get to see in your application. They won't get to see you in person. So make sure that you have the right things on your resume. I really love that part, but I want to know, like, what if there is somebody who doesn't know whether they want to go in supply chain quality, let's say, because you're coming in fall, you barely know like what you want to specialize in, right? And if there's someone who has no idea about what their specialization should be, what would you suggest they do? Should they create separate resumes for each of the different specializations so that when they apply they can apply to different roles, or what should they do?
So if they did not know what to do, I would say, uh, take uh, different kind of courses from different kind of aspects. Like don't only stick on to one kind of course, because if you're sticking on to supply chain, but you at the end, let's say you have a technical background, let's say you have program and coding or analytics, but you have taken all courses in supply chain, then it might be difficult for you to completely go to quality or compliance, right? But let's say you are taken courses, one course in supply chain, one course in industrial engineering, one course in consulting, or one course in the ERP that I told you that I always tell about, and one course in analytics. You have options that uh, you can I think navigate later. So I think that's a,
Diversify.
yeah. So
Yeah.
diversify if you do not know what to do, and if you like something, then you can always take the other electives. So finish your required courses first, and then move your electives to the latter part of your master's degree. So that will help. That's what I also did. So yeah.
No, but I meant to ask, like, what about the resume? Should they keep a single resume on which they are including all different electives, or should they keep different resumes based on the
Okay.
streams they want to apply to?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I think I missed a question. So I myself had like 4 or 5 resumes. I had one for business analyst, I had one for supply chain, I had one for IE, I had one for quality, I had one for general management. So yeah, I think it's essential to have all these things, because I was not concerned about which industry I wanted to go. So I was open to any kind of role. So because that was kind of the market we had too. We were not having the luxury to just stick on to one thing,
Choose.
choose, because yeah, so even I had like 5 to 6 different resumes. So each resume I would actually put the projects which were most relevant to it. So which is what I would recommend the users to, even if you are not sure in this market, in 2024's market, 2023's market, I would say still have all the courses, still have all the resumes, and build your resume based off not only what you like but what you have to, right? And then what you can do is you can apply for everything also if you want to, but if you only want to stick to something also, it's good. But in markets which are good, I think you can stick on to whatever you want. But if you think the market is bad, then I would say still apply to all the 5 different avenues. Like it's not like you have to only apply for like a single type of jobs, right? Like I told you, that like 7 8 categories of ISC that you can choose, like. But obviously if you might not like all 7. Like let's say you might not have the background in programming, you might not like analytics at all, or you might not want to do, you can chuck that. You can still do production, you can do manufacturing, you can do quality, you can do supply chain, you can do industrial engineering, consulting. So if you, or let's say you do not like manufacturing industries, you do not want to go into any of these, then you can still do consulting. You can do risk analyst, you can do the big four consulting, the compliance thing, whatever I told you. So you can just choose whatever you like and whatever you don't like, and whatever you like you can just start making resumes based off that, and then you can apply.
I agree with Nitin's approach to a great extent, because I feel that if you're solely sticking to one particular domain, let's say you're like, I will only pursue my jobs in supply chain, it could be that maybe you never get any callbacks from supply chain because there are already a lot of people in the market who have lost their jobs, or something has happened. So it's very unpredictable if you're just putting all your eggs in one basket. It's just like that investment principle. And also, I feel it's also about probability, because if you're applying to more places in different roles, maybe you could get a call back for a particular role. And even if you don't want to necessarily pursue that role, getting a call back will help you understand that what is your potential in that particular industry, and based on that you can choose to pursue it or not. But getting a callback is a positive thing, in the sense you get to experience the hiring process. You could use it like a demo of practice of interviewing. You can just use that company and try out how your confidence levels are, what are the kind of questions they are asking. So it's always good to apply to different types of jobs, even if you know there's only one particular stream that you want to pursue, because that will help you increase your chances in case things go wrong in the job market. Uh, so yeah,
Yeah, I
Nitin, which
completely
brings me to the next question.
yeah, I completely agree, but I'll have to add one point. So whatever you said, applies very well to students right now. Like it's not like they only want to do one kind of job and they're not getting. Probably that's the case. But even if they don't get what they want, it's still okay to start. And then because we are early off in our career, we can still move. We can still move, right? It's not like we are going to sit here for 10 years. If you're going to sit here for 10 years, then you might not get to wiggle around and try to explore other things. Just to give you an idea of why single approach would not work, I applied for more than 2,000 jobs for my full time, and I think out of those 1,500 was supply chain, and barely one or two I got callbacks in supply chain. Just I think one or two, or not even that. And whenever they called me, it was non-sponsorship roles, so which I did not want. So, but still, yeah. But yeah, I would try to say diversify, know what you can do best too. So yeah, so yeah, that's it.